Hi, this is Matt Bianca, and welcome to the Sutra Pills podcast. This is the place to listen to some teachings from original Buddhist sutras. A sutra a day keeps the dukkha away. Today's sutra is the Itivuttaka 77. As usual, we read a bit and then I give an explanation. Let's start. This was said by the Blessed One, said by the Arahant. So I have heard, monks, this body falls apart. Consciousness is subject to fading. All acquisitions are inconstant, stressful, subject to change. Knowing the body has fallen apart and consciousness and dissolving away, seeing the danger in acquisition, you have gone beyond birth and death. Having reached the foremost peace, you bide your time composed. So the Itivuttaka, the so-called the Thus Said, is a collection of 112 short sutra, and it's contained in the Nikaya, so the fifth basket of the Sutta Pitaka. And is written in a mixed prose and verse form, and each of these sutra, or each of these little poem, addresses a single well-focused topic of Dharma. The Itivuttaka takes its name from the Pali phrase that introduces each sutta, which is Itivutam Bhagavata, which means thus was said by the Buddha. So the particle iti is a very important particle in Pali and in Sanskrit, which it's been used like to introduce like direct speech and quotation. Usually you find, as I say here, thus was said, it said, someone said. So iti is very, very common in Buddhist literature and of course Hindu literature. So, but let's see like some part of this tiny sutra. So we have the word Arahant or Arhat in Sanskrit. Who is it? An Arhat is one who has gained insight into the true nature of existence and possibly has achieved nirvana. In different Buddhist school, it can be also interpreted as people with advanced skill, with advanced knowledge along the path of enlightenment, by a not reached yet enlightenment and Buddhahood. It really depends on the school. If you like carefully this small sutra, we can see what Gautama wants to tell us. You see, like the body falls apart. So basically, it's not part of us. You can say the consciousness is also like fading, so fall apart in another way. So we were talking about the concept of self and not self. And they say all acquisitions, so all we have is inconstant, stressful. So inconstant, which means impermanent, stressful, it's dukkha, so painful. So here we are talking about the three marks of existence. So we have like the impermanence, the duality between not self and self, and of course dukkha. And basically Buddha said, like, if we know that about our body, our consciousness, if we see also the danger of the stress that bring any acquisition, any materiality, any things that we have, we are done. We won this world, this life, because we are beyond birth and death. So we are beyond suffering. And we can reach in a very peaceful way our last day. We are waiting for our time. Another way that we can see like this sutra certainly is to call it the skandha, the five aggregates. So it's clear when you say like the body is falling apart, the consciousness falling apart, that is referring to that. So but what they are the skandha? The skandha are the five aggregates encompass the totality of our experience. So each group covers a different aspect of experience. And this division into five groups is a skillful analysis that Buddha applies so that we can gain a proper understanding of certain universal aspects of the whole of experience. Let's see one by one. So the first of the five is rupa, the form or materiality. This applies to the material aspect of our experience. In order to practically understand what is this referred, then we can ask this question, for example. Which aspect of my experience is dependent on or consists of what is material, the physical world? What's the material part of experience? The second skandha is Vedana or Vedana, depends on the actual way you put it, which is translated like not in a very perfect way, like as a sensation or feeling tone. So whatever we experience has the aspect of being either pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. So literally, with neutral we say literally neither unpleasant nor pleasant. The contemplation of Vedana is concerned with the feeling tone of what is happening at any of these six senses at any given moment. So basically it's connected to our six senses. So in order to understand its range, we can ask ourselves, how is this experience? Is it pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral? Then we have like Sanya, is the third, standing for perception or conception. It describes the process of seeing and recognize things, units, distinguishable entities in our experience, the creation and formation of concepts or interpretation. In this case, the question is, what is it that I'm perceiving? Could lead us to an understanding of Sanya. All the things we encounter, be it a tree, for example, a bench, a shoe, or sensation like hot, cold, good, bad, me, you, some person, a bird, a car, the universe, the color red, etc. Whatever we may notice or recognize depends on Sanya, to give it a name or concept by which to distinguish it. So they are like in contraposition. You give a name to the concept, that object, and then another way how to distinguish it to other concepts and other name. The fourth one is Sankara. So don't get confused with Samskara, that is another concept. This one is Sankara. As the fourth stand for volitionally formation, that which make us act. The impulses that lead to activity, triggered by what we experience and perceive, so of course linked to the previous skandha. The question here could be, what drives me to act? What are the impulses to get active? And last one, the fifth, is Vijnana, the consciousness. Is the knowing, the experience through our six senses. Accordingly, there are six consciousness: eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tone consciousness, body consciousness, and mind consciousness. In the Gautama's explanation, consciousness is anything not mysterious or esoteric, but simply the knowing that is happening through the doors of our senses. A suitable question for a practical understanding would be, whereby I am experiencing, or where can simply become aware of the fact that there is seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, bodily sensation, or mental experience happening, whatever we may be aware of that moment. In conclusion, we can say that the five aggregates work together and depend on each other. They cannot function in isolation on their own. They cannot be separated and taken apart. They go together. But they can be distinguished as different aspects of our experience. This is the whole of our body and mental experience, the skandhas. It's all together, but we can analyze one by one. Understanding them and thereby the totality of experience and seeing them as they actually are, as impermanent, unsatisfactory, and without an unchanged substantial self, again the three marks of existence that is mentioned exactly in this Itivuttaka Sutra. So what's happened with that leads to disenchantment, dispassion, letting go, and freedom for all suffering and peace finally.
This has been the Sutra Pill podcast, and I am Matt Bianca. Thank you to be here and listen to me. Comments are really appreciated. Whatever you want to tell me, just make a comment, even a bad one. Of course, the most important, may you be well, may you be happy, may you be free from suffering. Bye for